Iris walked into the delivery room, feeling nervous. She could see that Maya, who was only 13 years old, was lying on the bed. Maya's face was pale and sweaty, and she was crying out in pain. The nurses were moving quickly, but everything felt heavy and tense in the room. Maya's eyes were wide with fear, and she looked around like she wanted to escape from the pain. She wasn't ready for this. Nobody her age would be. Iris's heart hurt when she saw her, but she stayed calm. "You're doing great, Maya. Just breathe. We're here with you," Iris said gently. But Maya couldn't focus. Every time the pain came, it made her panic even more. Her small hands gripped the sheets tightly. With another big pain, she screamed, her voice loud and full of fear. For a second, she looked at Iris, her eyes begging for everything to stop. When the first baby was born, there was no relief. Maya was gasping for air, trying to breathe. The baby was taken by the nurses, but Maya still looked scared, even though the first baby was already here. Another wave of pain hit, and Maya looked terrified. She couldn't believe there were 2 more babies coming. By the time the third baby was born, Maya was barely awake. She was so tired and shaking with exhaustion. The nurses were taking care of the babies, cleaning and wrapping them in soft blankets, but Maya was still in shock. Iris stood next to Maya, wiping her forehead and watching the fear still in Maya's eyes. "Do you want to hold them?" one of the nurses asked softly, bringing the first baby close. Maya's eyes snapped open, full of panic. She shook her head quickly. "No, I can't," she whispered. She was too scared to hold the baby, her voice breaking with fear. The nurse didn't know what to do, so she looked at Iris. Iris nodded, telling the nurse to give Maya some space. Before anyone could do anything, Maya pushed herself up from the bed, her legs shaking. She tried to get off the bed, but couldn't stand properly. "I have to leave. I can't stay. I can't do this," Maya cried out, her voice desperate. The nurses rushed to her, trying to help, but Maya pulled away, stumbling toward the door. "I can't be their mother. I can't stay. I have to leave," she said, barely able to stand. Iris watched carefully from a distance, knowing that Maya was scared. She was so young, and this was a lot for her. But this wasn't just fear. Maya seemed to be breaking apart. Iris stepped forward, putting a hand on Maya's shoulder to try and calm her down. "Maya, honey, breathe. Just breathe. You're safe here. You're not alone," Iris said softly. But Maya didn't listen. Her body was tense, and her face was filled with fear. "I can't be a mother," she sobbed. "I can't even take care of myself. I can't do this." Iris knelt down beside her, trying to look into her eyes. "No one is asking you to do this alone. Not today, not tomorrow, but right now, you need to rest. Your babies need you to be strong, and you will be. But first, you need to breathe." Maya's breathing slowed just a little as she heard Iris's calm words, though she was still scared. The nurses helped Maya back into bed. She was exhausted, her body finally relaxing. Iris stayed close, holding Maya's wrist gently to keep her grounded. Maya whispered, her voice shaky. "They're better off without me. I can't be what they need. I'm just a kid." Iris's heart broke when she heard that, but she stayed calm. "You're scared," she said softly, "and it's okay to be scared, but you're stronger than you think. You've already done something amazing, bringing 3 babies into this world. That's not weakness. That's strength." Maya closed her eyes, and though she was still shaking with silent tears, she didn't say anything. Her voice was barely a whisper, full of sadness. "I just want it all to stop. I can't keep feeling like this." Iris felt a knot of worry in her chest. She gently spoke to Maya. "I'm going to be here, okay? Right here with you every step of the way. You don't have to do this alone. But right now, you need to take it one breath at a time. Can you do that for me?" Maya nodded weakly, though her eyes remained closed. She took a shaky breath, trying to calm herself. Iris could still see the fear in her, though, and she knew Maya was still struggling. Iris stayed by Maya's side for the rest of the day. When she left, she made sure to check on Maya's file one more time before heading home. As she walked down the hallway, she looked back at Maya. The girl was still lying in bed, motionless. Iris reminded herself, one step at a time, but even as she walked away, a feeling of worry tightened in her chest. Maya was all alone, and Iris couldn't shake the fear that Maya needed more help than she had right now. The next day, when Iris went to check on Maya, she saw a strange man standing outside Maya's room. He had a hood on, hiding his face. He wasn't moving, just standing still and staring through the window at Maya. Iris felt a chill go up her spine. Who was that man? She wanted to go to Maya, but something about the way the man was standing in the shadows made her feel uneasy. Visitors didn't just stand around outside rooms like that. Iris's stomach tightened as she started walking toward him. Her steps were slow, but steady. The man must have seen her coming because he quickly turned his head. When he saw her, he disappeared down the hallway so fast, she couldn't even shout to him. "Hey!" Iris shouted, running a few steps, but it was too late. He was already gone, disappearing into the stairwell. She stopped, breathless and feeling a little scared. Who was he? What did he want? And why had he been watching Maya? Iris returned to the nurse's station, feeling worried. Should she report this? Maybe he was just a visitor, but the way he had run away made her feel something wasn't right. A few minutes later, Iris went back to Maya's room. Her face looked calm, but inside she was still shaken by what she had just seen. Maya was sitting on the bed, staring out the window, lost in her thoughts. "Maya," Iris said softly, hoping to get her attention. "There was someone outside your room just now. A man in a hoodie. Do you know who he is?" For the first time in a while, Maya blinked. She looked at Iris quickly, then turned her head back to the window. There was a long pause. Then, in a small voice, Maya said, "Kyle? Kyle?" Iris felt her heart sink. Kyle was the father of Maya's babies, the one who had run away when things got hard, leaving Maya to face everything alone. Iris asked, "Kyle's here? What does he want?" Maya just shrugged, her body slumping. "I don't know," she said quietly. "I don't care." Iris frowned, trying to read Maya's face for any sign of emotion, but there was nothing. Maya still looked empty, like she wasn't really there. Iris's worry grew. "Maya, are you sure you're okay?" "I don't want to talk about him," Maya said flatly. "I don't want to talk about anything." Iris didn't push her. She left the room, her mind racing with thoughts of Maya and the strange man. She couldn't stop thinking about the man standing outside, watching. But even more than that, she couldn't stop thinking about how Maya hadn't reacted at all. It scared her. Iris went back to Maya's room later that evening. The sky outside was getting dark, but the lights of the city shone softly through the window. The hospital was quiet, peaceful in a way, but Maya was still the same, sitting on the bed, staring out the window. Iris quietly pulled up a chair and sat next to her. They didn't talk at first. The silence felt heavy. After a while, Iris said softly, "I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. You don't have to say anything, but if you want to, I'll listen." For a long time, nothing happened. Then, finally, Maya spoke, her voice barely a whisper. "They left me." Iris frowned. "Oh, my parents," Maya said quietly. "When they found out I was pregnant, they didn't even yell. They just left, like I didn't matter anymore." Maya's voice cracked, and she turned her head to meet Iris's gaze. Her face was blank, but her eyes were wet. "They couldn't deal with it," Maya continued. "I was their mistake. They didn't want me anymore. Not after this." Iris felt her heart break. She had known Maya was alone, but hearing it out loud, knowing her own parents had abandoned her, was worse than she could have imagined. "And Kyle?" Iris asked, already knowing the answer. Maya laughed, but it was bitter. "He left the second I told him. He didn't even hesitate. Just gone. I should have known he wasn't going to stick around. Not for me. Not for any of this." Iris could hear the pain in Maya's voice, the hurt of being abandoned by everyone who should have cared. For a moment, the only sound in the room was the rain tapping softly against the window. Maya's hands were trembling, clutching the hospital blanket. Iris didn't say anything. She let Maya have this moment to feel what she needed to feel. After a while, Maya spoke again, her voice breaking. "I can't do this," she whispered. "I can't be a mother to 3 babies. I can't even take care of myself." Iris's heart ached for her. She reached out, placing a hand gently on Maya's arm. "You don't have to do it alone," Iris said quietly. "You have people who care about you, people who want to help. You're not alone in this." Maya shook her head, her voice growing desperate. "No, you don't understand. I'm scared of them. Iris. What kind of mother is scared of her own children? Tears started to fall from Maya's eyes, and she shook with quiet sobs. I thought about ending it, she whispered. Maybe if I just disappeared, it would be better. Better for everyone. The babies would have a chance at a better life without me. Iris felt her heart stop. She knew Maya was struggling, but hearing her say she had thought about ending her life was terrifying. Iris's hand tightened on Maya's arm, feeling protective. Maya, Iris said, her voice firm but full of kindness. You're not going anywhere. And those babies, they need you. I know it's hard right now, but you're stronger than you think. You've already been through so much, and you're still here. That's strength. For a moment, Maya didn't say anything. She just shook with quiet sobs. But then, she looked up at Iris. Her face was tear-streaked, her expression almost childlike in its vulnerability. I'm scared, she whispered. I don't know how to be strong anymore. Iris nodded, her own eyes filled with tears. It's okay to be scared, but you're not alone. I'll be here with you every step of the way. We'll figure it out, one day at a time. Maya sniffled and wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. For the first time in days, there was a flicker of something in her eyes, maybe trust, maybe hope, even if it was just a tiny bit. Iris exhaled, feeling a little lighter. She knew there was a long road ahead, but tonight, Maya had taken a small step away from the darkness. And that was enough for now. A few days later, Maya was trying to rock the babies to sleep. It had been a hard night, and she was exhausted. She sat in the living room, her eyes heavy with tiredness, when there was a knock on the door. Maya frowned. She wasn't expecting anyone. When she opened the door, her breath caught in her throat. Kyle was standing there. He looked almost the same as before, but something about him was different. His shoulders were slumped, and he couldn't look her in the eye. He was the boy who had walked away when she needed him the most. I shouldn't be here, Kyle started, his voice shaking. But I need to talk to you. Maya felt her chest tighten. She was angry, scared, and hurt all at once. What do you want, Kyle? She snapped. Why are you even here? Kyle looked down at his shoes. I don't know. I couldn't stop thinking about everything. Maya's anger flared up. Where were you when I was pregnant? When I had 3 babies inside me, and you just disappeared? Kyle looked pale, and he stepped back. I was scared, okay? I didn't know what to do. I'm only 17. How was I supposed to handle being a dad? I freaked out. Maya felt her voice break. You freaked out? You think I wasn't scared? I'm 13. I had 3 babies, and you just left me. Just left. Kyle's head dropped, and his voice cracked. I didn't know what to do. Maya, everything was too much. I thought you'd be better off without me. Maya laughed bitterly, but it wasn't funny. It hurt. Better off without you? I've been doing this alone, Kyle. Every night. Every morning. Taking care of 3 babies by myself. You think that was better? Kyle finally looked up, tears in his eyes. I know I messed up. I know I hurt you. But I'm here now. I want to help. Maya stared at him. Help? It's too late for that, Kyle. You can't just show up and think you can fix everything. Kyle's voice was soft and pleading as he spoke. I just want to be a part of their lives. I want to be a dad. Maya felt like someone had knocked the air out of her. She wanted to shout at him, to slam the door in his face, and make him feel the pain she had felt alone for so long. But instead, she stood still, trembling, unable to move. Do you know how hard it's been? Maya whispered, her voice shaking. Do you know how many times I cried because I didn't know what to do? Do you know how hard it is to be a mom when I'm still just a kid myself? Kyle's eyes were full of tears, and his voice was quiet. I know, Maya. I should have been there. I was selfish and scared, but I want to make things right. Maya shook her head, her tears finally falling. You can't make it right, Kyle. You left me. You don't get to come back like nothing happened. Kyle breathed deeply, trying to calm himself, his hands in his pockets as if they could stop his whole body from shaking. I know I can't change what I did, he said quietly. But I'm here now. I want to be here for you, for them. Maya's chest hurt as she tried to hold back her emotions. She wanted to believe him, but part of her remembered all those nights she had cried alone, all the time she thought she couldn't go on without him. She wasn't ready to forgive him. Just as Maya was about to speak, Iris appeared in the hallway. Her calm voice broke the silence. Kyle, I think it's best if you leave for now. Maya needs time. If you really want to be a part of their lives, you'll need to prove it, but not today. Kyle hesitated, looking between Iris and Maya, hoping to see some sign that she would let him stay. But all he saw was the pain on her face. I'll go, he whispered, his voice cracking. But I'm not giving up. I'll be here. I won't disappear again. He turned slowly, his footsteps heavy as he walked away. The door closed behind him with a quiet thud. Maya stood still, her body shaking. She didn't know how to feel, relieved he was gone, or heartbroken by the mess he had left behind. Iris gently put an arm around her shoulders and led her back inside. That night, after Kyle left, Maya was alone in her room. The babies were asleep, their soft breathing the only sound in the quiet house. Maya couldn't sleep. Her mind was full of memories, some she had tried to forget. She sat by the window, the moonlight casting long shadows on the floor. Outside, the world seemed calm, but inside, her heart was full of pain. She thought about Kyle and the good times they had shared. She remembered when they first held hands, when they laughed together without a care in the world. They had been so happy once. But now, those happy memories felt ruined by the pain of him leaving. Maya's chest tightened as she thought of the nights she spent crying, the fear she felt when she realized she was pregnant and would have to raise the babies without him. Those nights were the hardest. Maya didn't know how to forgive him. How could she when he had left her, when she needed him the most? Even though he was back now, saying all the right things, she didn't know if she could trust him again. Iris quietly entered the room and sat beside her. "Can't sleep?" she asked softly. Maya shook her head. "It's just a lot," she whispered. Iris nodded. "You've been through more than most people your age. It's okay to feel overwhelmed." Maya looked down at her hands. "I don't know if I can ever forgive him," she admitted, "but I don't know if I can shut him out either." "You don't have to decide right now," Iris said gently. "You're still processing everything. But whatever you decide, make sure it's what's best for you and the babies." The next morning, Kyle came back. Maya wasn't surprised. A part of her had known he would come. She hadn't slept well, thinking about their conversation from the night before. But today she was calmer. When Kyle knocked on the door, she was already up. The babies were sleeping, and she opened the door slowly. Kyle was standing there, his face softer than the night before. He looked serious, and his eyes were full of guilt. "Can we talk?" he asked quietly. Maya stepped aside and let him in. They sat down in the living room, facing each other. The room felt heavy with unspoken words. After a long pause, Kyle spoke. "I know you don't trust me," he said, "and I don't blame you. I hurt you, Maya. I made the worst mistake when I left." Maya crossed her arms, her face serious. She didn't respond, but she was listening. Kyle continued, "When you told me you were pregnant, I freaked out. I didn't know what to do. We were just kids, and I didn't think I could handle it, so I ran. I've regretted it every day since." Maya's heart ached, but she stayed quiet. She had heard apologies before, but words weren't enough. Kyle took a deep breath, his voice shaky. "I know I can't fix what I did, but I'm here now. I want to be a part of their lives. I want to make up for what I did, even though I don't deserve it. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll prove it to you." Maya looked at him, unsure. Part of her was still angry and didn't trust him, but another part, the part that had once loved him, wanted to believe him. "You don't just get to walk back into our lives and expect everything to be okay," she said quietly. "If you want to be a father, you'll have to prove it. I mean, really prove it." Kyle nodded, his eyes filled with determination. "I will, Maya. I promise. I'll be there for them and for you. I'm not running away again." Maya leaned back in her chair, still unsure. "We'll see," she said. "But remember, this is on my terms. I'm in control." Kyle nodded again, understanding. For the first time in a long while, Maya felt a small sliver of hope. She would get him a chance, but this time, she wouldn't let him hurt her again. She had her babies to think about, and they came first. A few days later, there was another knock at the door. This time, it was Kyle's parents standing in the doorway. Maya was surprised to see them. She hadn't seen them since Kyle left. They stood there, looking sorry. "We didn't know about the babies until recently," Kyle's mother, Clara, said gently. "We're so sorry. We should have been here. We want to help." Maya felt her heart race. She didn't know what to say. Clara stepped forward and took her hand. You've been through so much. We can't change the past, but we want to be part of the babies' lives. Kyle's father, Victor, spoke next. You've done an amazing job, Maya. We're so proud of you. If you'll let us, we'd love to be grandparents to the babies and support you. Tears filled Maya's eyes, but this time, they weren't from sadness. They were from relief. She nodded and let them in. For the first time in a long while, she felt like she had family again. Over time, Kyle's parents became regular visitors, helping out with the babies. And when the babies turned 1, Maya decided to throw a small party to celebrate. It was a day full of love, laughter, and the sound of the babies giggling. Maya stood up to give a toast. I just want to thank all of you for being here for me and the babies, she said, her voice shaking a little. I don't know how I would have done it without you. She looked at Iris and smiled. Iris, you've been more than a friend. You've been my mom through all of this. I don't know how to thank you for everything you've done. I wouldn't have made it without you. Iris's eyes filled with tears. I'm so proud of you, Maya, she whispered. Maya stepped forward and hugged Iris tightly. You're my mom now, Iris. I don't care what anyone says. The room fell silent for a moment, full of love and gratitude. Maya had found the family she had been missing for so long. As the weeks passed, Maya grew into her role as a mother. It wasn't easy, but she wasn't alone anymore. Kyle started helping more with the babies. He fed them, changed their diapers, and stayed up with them when they were sick. Maya wasn't ready to fully forgive him, but she could see he was trying. That was enough for now. Together, they began to create happy moments, family dinners, playing with the babies, watching them grow. Maya started to feel like they were becoming a family again. Not the perfect family she had once imagined, but a family built on love, healing, and hard work. When the babies took their first wobbly steps, giggling as they fell into her arms, Maya felt peace for the first time in a long while. She knew there would still be challenges, but with love and support, she was ready to face them. If you enjoyed this story and would like to see more content like it, I encourage you to subscribe to my CH Clairol. By subscribing, you'll stay updated on all our latest, inspiring, and heartwarming stories and have the opportunity to engage with our growing community. Additionally, I would love to hear your thoughts and feedback in the comment section below. Thank you for your support, and I look forward to sharing more captivating narratives with you.